I was listening to the morning show driving in, 2 days ago, I guess it would have been. They had Vern on, and Vern said something that really stood out because we all know Vern has been locked into this organization for, 10 plus years at this point in time.
Yeah.
And
Longer, yeah.
he's been through some highs of World Series runs and certainly ultimate lows. And so when he says something like this, and it's May 19th, and he says this about this season, I think we all listen.
7 games below 500. To me, this has been the most disappointing season, 47 games in, but the most disappointing season that I've been a part of. I haven't been here forever, but dating back to 2012, there was never this type of anticipation, these type of expectations, this type of talent, only to lay this large of an egg. So, 7 games below 500, a 1-5 road trip. You are the worst road team in all of Major League Baseball. The tenor shouldn't be good. I'm glad to hear that the fans are not just disappointed, but angry because the expectations in this city, not just from the Royals, but all teams, the expectations have been raised over the past decade. We expect more.
So that was Vern a couple days ago. They're now 8 games under 500. It's gotten even worse since what he said there.
It's crazy how bad the American League is. They're so lucky that they're not just out of it, right?
Yeah,
because this is
they're tied with the Tigers for last place of the AL Central, and the Guardians are in first place. And fortunately, it's not like the Guardians have 30-something wins, or 35 wins or something crazy. I think the Guardians have 28 wins or something.
Yeah,
it's not like they're out there 10 games in front of everybody. But when Vern says that for him, think about the years that he has covered. There's been some really bad seasons, but this year, because the thought was they have to compete to win the AL Central. And you go through the roster, and you got an MVP candidate, and we've gone through this, and you go through what they did. I'll even say I think what has made it even worse for me in terms of frustration has been seeing the success some of these guys had at the WBC, how much fun they were having, the energy, how big of a leader some of these guys were, and then to see them lay a complete
didn't
throughout that is actually kind of ticked me off more. Because we saw Michael Garcia be the MVP of the WBC. We saw Vinny in Cags with the espresso machine having fun and all that. And Bobby Wood Jr. for Team USA. And then the season starts and completely different players.
Yeah, and I went through it. I didn't want to just be like, yes, I agree, Vern. I went through each year and I was like, all right, which one would have been more disappointing to me? And I was like, well, maybe someone could make the argument for 16. They only finished 500 a year after winning the World Series. I had the World Series. I didn't care. They could have lost 162 games in 2016, and I would have probably still been okay. I'd have lived my life. And so that year, maybe not, maybe 17, right? Because then you're like, hey, let's get back to the playoffs. Final ride before all these guys leave town. Last year of Haas and Kane and Moose before these guys maybe go on somewhere else. Maybe, but again, I still had the World Series from 2 years ago. Then all the other ones in between, no. This is the part that Vern is talking about and the reason why it's extra disappointing. And I want to make this very clear, they have talent. They're not a talentless group. I wasn't more disappointed in 2004. John Buck was their 3-hole hitter. I knew they stunk. Just because in 2003 they were a little good, they had no talent. 2004 had Scott Ellerton starting the beginning of the year. I knew they stunk. And your deepest part of your soul, you knew they stunk. They have people who have competed for a Cy Young on this team. Got multiple guys who finished top 3 in the Cy Young a couple years ago.
Gold gloves?
They got gold gloves. They've got the guy who's the second best player in the sport, short of Shohei. They've got players who have put up big numbers, big time numbers, who have performed. They have talent. They're just not playing like a good team. That's why it's the most disappointing. And that's why Vern's right. That's genuinely why Vern's right. And then insult to injury yesterday. Now Kris Bubic is on the IL. To go with Strom, to go with Reagans, and I'm like, well, how long?
And given Kris Bubic's his injury history, I know he told Andy Rodgers that because of his history, they're going to be cautious with it and everything. But I would also say because of his history, we should all be very concerned about the elbow for Kris Bubic as well, coupled with, as you already said, Cole Reagans, Noah Cameron have been banged up this year. It's just everything's kind of falling apart on them right now. It's like the walls are caving in big time on the Kansas City Royals in 2026.
Well, and like someone says, Cody, they're out of it. I'm not arguing. Do you think I think they're a playoff team right now? They're 8 games under 500. Now, I will say,
You know they're minus 400 to miss the playoffs now.
they are.
Meaning you would have to bet $400 to win $100.
I guess I should be betting them to make the playoffs at this point. Then,
Well, I mean,
if I was betting a side of it, obviously not going to. But the part about it, and I think that this is where I want to just be like, wake up, is that the AL, the American League, is genuinely so stinky. They aren't really out of it. Text line. They are, right, in the common sense. They are somehow, by some miracle, despite all of this, I'm not saying they're a playoff team, but they have to tell themselves this, 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. That's it?
That's crazy.
As bad as you've played, that's it? Now they got to jump 40 teams or whatever the hell it is. You somehow have not completely eliminated yourself mathematically from this thing. Again, they've played themselves out of it, and we'd have to a million things that have to change.
Goes back to the
for
same
me to
thing.
even entertain the
As I've
conversation.
said,
The standings don't mean as much now.
Yeah, as I've said for weeks, I don't care about the standings in the division or anything. It's all about the 500 game, which is getting back to 500. They're now 8 games under 500. We know you're not making the postseason unless at bare minimum you're 500. Even that's not good enough. So that's why I don't. Frankly, I don't care that they're 2.5 out of a wild card spot because we all know you're not making a wild card.
I'm just saying they have to tell themselves that.
You're not making a wild card 8 games under 500. So
Are you sure?
I'm very sure.
This year might be the year, though.
I don't think so. So that's why I don't care that they're 2.5 out of a playoff spot. That truly does not matter right now.
How many sub 500 teams would be in the playoffs right now in the American League? Because that's the crazy part.
At least 2, 3.
Well, let me look it up. I don't want to just blindly say, but as of right now, it's all. I mean, it's the whole American League. It's crazy. Right now, the American League would have 1, 2, 3, 4 sub 500 playoff teams.
Yeah, the wild cards would be the Yankees at 29 and 19, the White Sox at 24 and 23, and the Mariners at 23 and 26.
But here's the part. But
the Royals are also though, Cody.
4, I guess. 3.
The Royals are also though 2 spots from having the worst record in the American League.
Yeah. It wouldn't be as many as I'm saying, but it's a lot. And so but I do want to point out that if you're the Royals and you have the talent, you got to figure out a way not to panic right now. And that's hard because you keep losing and you got to figure out the small ways in which you win. And maybe last night, right, where Massey gets can you just start doing the little things well? Because there might be a few more wins in it for you. Because the Twins are below 500 or everybody, the entire American League's below 500. It's a lot of below 500 teams. So find a way. Find a way to yes, Gold, you're right. By the time the playoffs all play themselves out, can you at least play yourself back in this thing? And right now, they don't look like they look lost.
Regarding the whole
That's why it's been the most frustrating season. Vern's right. It's been the most frustrating season since Vern's been the Royals insider. It's accurate.
Regarding what Vern said, so I went ahead and texted him because you know how Vern always gives a title to the season. I asked and obviously Vern had, for a lot of reasons, Vern and everybody else, we've all kind of hyped up this team and what they could be this year. I asked Vern what the title was for this year, and he was his title for this year is the standard. Unfortunately,
standard set has been poor.
The standard set is what has led to Vern having this feeling, I believe, and the feeling that everybody has of the sheer disappointment of what we thought could potentially be, where now they look worse than they did even last season, and obviously with all the talent that they brought in and having Cags up and knowing that Cags is playing relatively well, I would say. I mean, you even look at what he did last night again, but you're not getting the delivery that you're expecting from Vinny and from Salvi. It makes it even more disappointing. And the standard is not, if this is the year where the standard is being showcased, it's not a good one, obviously, for all the reasons we've talked about for the last 2 months.
We'll get back to the Royals coming up at noon. Obviously, they're frustrating at the moment. Hope they're going to win tonight. Bullpen game. You know what? Honestly, no team Bull Durham style could use a rain out more. Just get a rain out.
Not going to happen.
You're asking for a rain out?
I don't think that's happening.
I'm officially rooting for a rain out. Let's get a rain out.
I don't think it's supposed to rain, Cody. I think they're going to get this game in tonight.
Turn the sprinklers on. Do what you got to do.
They got an off day coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, that might help, at least on that end. Let's